This is the Sesto Elemento, and you're watching Carlyle's Picks.
Alright, so I did a to-the-point review on Need for Speed, the movie, and now this is going to be the full review, much more details, and I'm going to start out with running through my notes that I was taking during the movie. These were my observations from the beginning of the movie till the end, so this is in the order of occurrence. So first thing was, it had a really slow beginning. Then there was this really boring race. Then I'm like, these characters are really stupid. These characters are really childish. For example, imagine just making millions on a deal, getting pretty much exactly or almost the price that you wanted, millions of dollars. But rather than be happy about that, your big concern is that somebody said they're a better driver than you. No, I'm a better driver than you. No, I'm a better driver than you. No, I'm a better driver than you. Really? And this guy is the owner of an exotic car business. This 15-year-old in a, 29-year-old's body is that silly. Then there were a couple of snicker moments. You know, those are really awful snickers. However you guys snicker, just the little giggles here and there. Not a serious, ha 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 ha, LOL, but some snickers here and there. There's some funny moments. Then after the first boring 30 minutes are over, the real movie begins with this awesome race featuring really awesome cars. I'll just say at least one of them was the Koenigsegg Agera R. The sounds were awesome, the visuals were awesome, but none of it was original, other than I'm not used to seeing cars of that caliber in these types of scenes in movies. They usually just are in garages, kind of like in real life. So seeing them speeding down the highway, that was pretty awesome. The sounds, the POV views, pretty awesome. Some of it was even kind of on the edge of your seat, and I hate when people use that expression, but you did kind of feel like you were racing in the cars and you could crash. So well done, but unoriginal. At this point, I kind of had a feeling that I was watching video game cutscenes, but really high quality ones though. Not the 3D animation, kind of silly ones you see in an actual game. So it's kind of a considerable step up from the video game experience, especially with the sound, because video game sounds suck for cars. Then the main character leans on a $3 million car with his jeans, and I hope there were no metal in them, but I was just like, wow, it's a main actor that did that, main character. Then there's this whole weird plot thing where they're driving this long distance to go to the secret race, and they don't even know where the secret race is going to be at yet. Obviously they figured it out later on, but I'm just like, all the money floating around in the situation, like why didn't they ship the car? Why are we driving to this location? Then there's a ridiculous car jumping scene, of which we all know the real car would have been totaled, absolutely totaled. But of course it survives, just like Fall Guy. I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been with Farrah. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey. Okay, I'm not going to sing the Fall Guy song. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Don't stop the video. All right, back to the review. Then there was this weird thing where they're going to try to refuel the car while driving, but no one seems to have thought ahead about how they were going to open or get access to the fuel tank. So again, it's just like kids would do. Not even 15-year-old, like a 12-year-old would do something like this. No one thought, how are we going to open it up to put the fuel in the car? It wouldn't have cost the production company much money to write that scene a little bit better. Then there's this character who keeps randomly showing up in different aircraft. A helicopter here, a plane there, another helicopter there, even a military helicopter, and then a news chopper, a real news chopper. The news actually cut to this guy while he was in the chopper, and then they had to do a cut to commercial moment. So it's like, how did he get the helicopter? I guess he stole it. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It was funny, but weird. Then there's a point where they start trashing this multi-million-dollar car, but no one seems to care. So imagine you're driving a Lamborghini Aventador, but you're treating it like it's a Honda Civic. I mean, no kind of a, do you know how much this car costs moments? No one seems to care at all. Then we're finally getting to the final race, and somehow you know the final race is going to be good. Because like I said, the race scenes and chase scenes can be pretty good. Not original, but still pretty good. So you know the final one, what the whole movie's building up to, you know it's going to be pretty awesome. And it does deliver. I wasn't disappointed at all. Still not original, and I wouldn't say it's anything to brag about, but an awesome race, nonetheless. The Sesto Elemento sounded weird sometimes on the outside, and then there's a point in the end of the race where the cops kind of disappear all of a sudden. I like the feel of the ending, pretty dramatic, pretty awesome. And then there's a commercial for the latest Mustang. Nicely played, Ford. Alright, let's break it down. This movie should be about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes long. 2 hours is way too long. If it was an hour long, the antagonist acted like a 29-year-old. The love interest wasn't annoying. They spent at least an extra day working on the plot or the story. So they figure stuff like, oh, if we're going to fill up the fuel while driving, we need a plan for how they're going to open up the fuel tank. 1 day. That's all it would take. I think if they did those things at all alone, it would be enough for me to say it's a pretty, I don't want to say awesome, but a pretty cool movie. Nothing to brag about, but a pretty cool movie. And then another way I look at it is, I would like these cars in a Fast and Furious movie. And I would like the Fast and Furious characters in this movie. But to compare the last Fast and Furious with this movie, I'm sorry I have to go with Fast and Furious. And I like Fast and Furious. I know it wasn't a deep storyline and all that kind of stuff, but I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed this movie. But I think the last Fast and Furious was more enjoyable than this was. Somehow I had more fun in Fast and Furious that I was able to overlook some of the silliness. The silliness in this movie, I guess because it's just too long. Silliness in this movie was too much of a problem. I shouldn't say too much of a problem, but it was definitely enough to take away at least a star from the rating of this movie. I want to give this movie an 8, like a moviegoer did that I asked about it, but it's too long and too much silliness. It's really in the 7s somewhere. I'll just say upper 7s, and a lot of that has to do with because of the awesome cars and awesome chase scenes. Again, not original, but still awesome. This movie is definitely going to get a lot of hate from car guys who might be insulted, but I think it's going to be popular with a younger crowd. Up to maybe early 20s, they might enjoy the movie, minus the first 30 minutes. Anybody older? Depends on your level of patience for foolishness and your passion for cars in any form. Should you go see it? Well, I've given you enough information to make that decision, but ultimately it's your decision. But there's ultimately definitely not enough positives in the movie for me to recommend it. But I never really recommend any movie unless it's something that I really feel was just totally awesome. Something I'd want to go see again. I don't think there's any way I'd go and see the movie again. But yet I wouldn't say I hated it or I wasted my money. I was entertained. It's just that there was a lot of fluff in there that you had to go through to get to the good stuff. Too much fluff, not enough good stuff. Again, way too long. So if you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it and if you agree with my thoughts. And again, finally, I want to clarify. I want to make absolutely certain that you guys understand that, again, if this movie was 60 minutes long, it would have been a pretty decent movie for a car movie. I mean, the plot is definitely what you would expect from a car movie. But I would be a lot easier on the movie if it was like 60 minutes long. But my time is very valuable, and to sit down, over 2 hours, and to sit through a lot of the crap that I had to sit through. I hate using the word crap, but I know a lot of you guys are going to be using the word crap. But to sit through all of that, just for some pretty awesome chase scenes and seeing those exotics on screen. I don't know, guys. I really wanted to love this movie, but you know what I'd love? I'd love to be able to see all the chase scenes from this movie as a kind of in-theater mini-movie that you could see while you're waiting for your movie to start. So instead of those crappy commercials, you could watch 5 minutes of these really awesome scenes, because I think it really was an awesome experience seeing on the big screen these high-end cars racing and the sounds and the POV, and it was pretty awesome. It's just that it had a lot of extra stuff to go with it. And the other stuff, mud in the water. Mud in the water. There you have it. Need for Speed. That's my take on it. Hopefully Tim's Take does a review as well. I'm going to show you how a clutch works.
Ferruccio Lamborghini was born in the Lamborghini
Huracan.
If you love cars the way I love cars, then you're probably going to want to click on that subscribe button.